So we want to be able to define the model in a spatially explicit manner so that we can represent the environment which we observe in the real world and the real world geography, the configuration of land masses and the oceans. And we do this by defining a grid in the model. And that grid can be flexible in both extent, so it can be local in scale from a couple of kilometres up to a global grid. And indeed we can define the resolution of those grid cells appropriately within that scaling. And then we also want to read in a set of environmental layers essentially into each grid cell. So we have the amount of precipitation and the temperature within each grid cell, then also, for example, remotely sensed net primary productivity. And then the ecology which we encode in the model, essentially almost all happens within a grid cell. So all of the feeding, metabolism, reproduction, growth all occurs within a grid cell, but then once a time step there are dispersal events which allow organisms to move from one grid cell into another one. And this combination of space and environment allows us to think about how environmental factors might affect ecology through time, but also allow us to investigate with the model how the effects, for example, of habitat fragmentation or spatial configuration of fragmentation might affect ecosystem structure.